Hi there, everybody. This is Amber Johnson with Helping the Good People. How are you? Lately, I've been struggling with past hurts, past pains, past injustices, and it stirred up a lot of feelings. Throughout most of my groups, the first thing they tell you is, how do you feel? Well, I've tried doing that before and speaking up about how I feel, and people freak. I said, well, you asked, and I'm so truthful and honest and open about it that it either scares people or it helps people. I'm sitting here reading in the Bible right now, came across Isaiah 14, and that kind of opened my eyes to, what's going on in this crazy world of ours. Now remember, it's just worldly things, not godly things. It's been predicted already, and we all pretty much are aware of that and dealing with it on our own. And mind you, I don't judge anybody's beliefs. I am open to every religion out there, and I am a minister as myself. So, but to get back on topic, one of the subjects that I've been having issues with is a lot of anger and wanting to take vengeance. Now, for me, a lot of it is up in my head. I never act on it. But I'll tell you what, I could write some scary stories based on the thoughts that go on, visions that we have. I'm sure we've all been there before. So I came across this Bible that I have. It's really cool. It's Life Application Bible, the New International Version by Zondervan. It's actually a study Bible, so it goes more into detail about what you're reading. So for me, I'm all about research and wanting to understand. Ever since I was a child, I always asked why. Why? Everything always goes back to a why, right? So it's good to get information. Now, one of the things that's in here that I found in Psalms, Psalms 137 and 139, which is some of my favorites, came across a passage that said there's different stuff on anger and vengeance in the book of Psalms. So several of the Psalms shock those familiar with New Testament teachings. The psalmist didn't hesitate to demand God's judgment and justice and make vivid suggestions on how he might carry it out. Apparently, no subject was unsuitable for discussion with God, but our tendency is to avoid the subjects of anger and vengeance in Psalms. Forgive me, I'm reading here. To understand the words of anger and vengeance, we need to understand several things. 1. The judgments asked for are to be carried out by God and are written out of intense personal and national suffering. Sound familiar? The people are unable or unwilling to take revenge themselves and are asking God to intervene. I've been praying a lot for an intervention for many years. I think that's why I go back to anger and wanting to seek vengeance. So I definitely relate with this. Because few of us have suffered intense cruelty on a personal or national level, we find it difficult to grasp these outbursts. So again, some people that are not aware of situations like abuse or, neglect, abandonment issues, all childhood traumas, they don't understand why people have these certain outbursts or why they become enraged when confronted or faced with the truth of, the pain that it's caused the person. And that's why they say, try stepping in someone else's shoes for once and seeing a different perspective. And I do a lot of that. I definitely do. But over time, I've had problems expressing my emotions. They get in the way. No matter how much I've tried, I'll tell you, it definitely is hard to speak. It breaks down the communications. So number 2, these writers were intimately aware of God's justice. Some of their words are efforts to vividly imagine what God might allow to happen to those who had harmed his people. Number 3, it says, if we dare to write down our thoughts while unjustly attacked or suffering cruelty, we might be shocked at our own bold desires for vengeance. We would be surprised at how much we have in common with these men of old. The psalmist did not have Jesus command to pray for one's enemies, but they did point to the right place to start. We are challenged to pay back good for evil, but until we respond to this challenge, we will not know much of how we need God's help in order to forgive others. There's that word, forgive. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff with my children these days that I haven't really spoken about. I kind of gave up on talking about it because it's not getting me anywhere, really. Instead, I've just been going within and trying to figure out, how do I forgive? And recently, I had a call from DCS, and next thing you know, we're on a phone call with about 4 women doing a prayer group on the phone, to just pray again for a 20-year battle, okay? And one of the things we discussed was how to pray for our enemies and the ones who have hurt us. And they said it is very hard to pray for someone who has done so much evil in the world and hurt so many people. And my response was, well, you have to forgive. Not for them, but for you. And that's where we struggle, is like we feel like if we forgive them, how can we forget? But it's not for them, is it? It's about for us. It's how we feel by letting go and just forgiving the past. So for me, it is a very big challenge because, like I said, and it says here too, is about writing down our thoughts while unjustly attacked and suffering cruelty. But we don't realize that. We just keep on thinking about it, and we want to get it out, so we write it down. Have you been there before? I'm sure you have. So think about those things as far as the forgiveness. We need God's help in order to forgive others. Number 4, there is a helpful parable between the Psalms of anger and the Psalms of vengeance. The angry Psalms are intense and graphic, but they are directed at God. He is boldly told how disappointing it is when he turns his back on his people or acts too slowly. But while these thoughts and feelings were sincerely expressed, we know from the Psalms themselves that these passing feelings were followed by vengeance Psalms. We read, for example, David's angry outburst against Saul's pursuit in Psalms 59, yet we know that David never took personal revenge on Saul. The psalmist freely spoke their minds to God, having confidence that he could sort out what was meant and what was felt. Pray with that same confidence. God can be trusted with your heart. And that's what led me into reading the Bible today and doing this video. So for those that are still listening, thank you. The one thing that calmed me down tonight, reading it, was actually, let me see here, Psalms 138. Let me see here. There's so many good things in here. Yes, it had to have been Psalms 138. Oh, 138 is where I started. Let's go ahead and I'm going to read Psalms 139, which is, God is all-seeing, all-knowing, all-powerful, and everywhere present. God knows us. God is with us. And his greatest gift is to allow us to know him. O Lord, you have searched me, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you know it completely, O Lord. You hem me together, in, behind, and before. You have laid your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light becomes night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place. When I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, O God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. If only you would slay the wicked, O God, away from me, you bloodthirsty men. They speak of you with evil intent. Your adversaries misuse your name. Do I not hate those who hate you, O Lord, and abhor those who rise up against you? I have nothing but hatred for them. I count them my enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way of everlasting. That really touches my heart to the core, because I know that I am worthy. I know that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And I also know that the thoughts that I have are just that, because in the end I rely solely on the Lord to seek his own anger and vengeance against the ones who have hurt us. No matter your struggles, guys, no matter what is going on, no matter what faith you believe in, there has to be something that keeps you going, something that keeps you fighting. There has to be. There has to be some light in there. No matter the struggles in the world, you can't live in fear. That is one thing he tells you. Fear is not of God. Trust, faith, and hope is the truth. If you start getting down, you get discouraged, you get angry and want vengeance, remind yourself of this. Psalms 139. Remind yourself of who you are deep down in there. Are you really capable of hurting someone because they hurt you? Or are you really able to forgive yourself and then forgive them? How do you forgive someone that's done so much, who has no faith, no belief? You give them love. You give them hope that they do have a chance to be forgiven too. But sometimes it's not possible. You gotta try. I pray every day. I pray for my family. I pray for my friends. I pray for the world to wake up. One thing that I was told, and we've always talked about it, and no matter whether it comes from the Bible or not, this whole coronavirus thing was a wake-up call. To wake up to your true, authentic self, find the light, and shine it so bright that this whole wickedness comes crumbling down. That's what we need. Wake up.